think because it's our first one. I think it's just like...
I just feel so scattered. Like, what are we talking about now?
Where do we start?
Where do
like,
you even...
How do you even start a podcast without it being...
super
lame or formal or...
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, we're not going to start that way.
No, okay.
No.
How are we going to start that?
I don't know. I think we did.
Okay.
I think we literally leave all of this in.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this is our podcast. We get to decide what we're going to do.
That's
we're going
true.
to leave this in.
That's true. Hi, I'm Kelly.
Hi, I'm Ed. Yeah, that's it. That's how the Four Students podcast starts.
Cut.
And we're done. That was easier than I thought. But it is crazy. Here's our first episode. And this is so cool. Like, this feels crazy to me, but the audience just heard, not for the first time, because it's an older song, 2013, but one of my favorite songs.
So cool.
And we heard Ways to Go by Group Love. Mm-hmm. And so here's this band that my family's been listening to forever that I run to this song all the time. Like, this is literally my go-to song when I'm suffering. And I was suffering when I realized, like, what is our intro music going to be for this podcast?
Great question.
And I'm coming up this hill in my neighborhood just dying, and I keep going back to this beat drop in that song because it's like
You
so
still
like
got
when
a
it goes
ways
all
to go.
vibe and I got a ways to go. And it's just like, it's motivating. And it hit me in that moment of suffering, like, what's to stop me from reaching out to Group Love?
Yeah,
Like,
I would have never thought to do that because I didn't feel like it would be. I feel like that's so hard. I don't know why.
Yeah, I felt that too, but
Okay.
I did it anyways. I was just kind of like, this is for a good cause. Like, our organization is really trying to do good things. And not only just trying, we have been doing good things now for several years, which is really cool. That's a cool story, right? Like a band and I thought I would reach out to the band. I'm like, is it going to be through, I'm not thinking through
Like
exactly
DMs?
all the details. Yeah, like DM, Group Love.
Just DM them.
But I was like, I'm going to figure out how to do this. I don't know where I'm going to start. So I just went with probably the way everybody starts now, like a Google search, like the Group Love, and then went to their website and then found a link to the management because it's like, it's upcoming albums and tour dates and stuff on their website, but then you can reach out and contact their management group. So I reached out to their management group and and then I went to, and I don't know why I chose this. So out of the three, because I think there was like bookings or management, contact, and then maybe publicity. And so which one would you have reached out to? And there was like a couple names under each one, different names.
Did it say booking or management?
I think it said management. Because I'm sure I did it wrong.
I don't know. I probably would have just done contact because publicity and management, I don't know. Those two feel very official and like they have their own lane, but contact is more broad and like, you just want to talk to us?
Yeah, exactly. Are you just some weird fan just reaching out like, I love you?
That's me.
Yes. And so I was kind of me. But I chose publicity for some reason.
You did.
So I chose the first name and just said, hey, you're the first name on here. Then kind of just told our story of our organization, Whitney's story a little bit. And then just said, and this is what we're trying to do. We're launching a podcast. I was thinking about intro music and this song, I just love it. This idea of ways to go. And not only like, is it, hey, we all have a ways to go, kind of this self-reflection thing. But then also this idea of like, I've got a little bit longer, I've got a ways to go. Maybe this idea of somebody holding on too. It was like both. It was like this self-reflection, but this meaningful kind of other thing too. Like, you can hang on, you've got a ways to go, you can do it.
Like
kind
your
of
journey.
Yeah, your journey. And so I just reached out to them. And then it literally, to your point, it seemed so hard. It felt so hard. It felt like a shot in the dark.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the email that you sent to them, which seems long.
Yeah, it was pretty long. It was like, I think 3 different paragraphs kind of. And I tried to make it succinct with like our main question, colon, and then the question, and then give some context so that someone could skim it and figure out what I wanted right away.
Yeah. But you did send me the screenshot of the reply.
Yeah. And it was just
I
so
can't remember
cool.
the exact
It was
words.
just kind of like, yes, we're fine with this use.
We're good with that.
Yeah. And it was so
like,
short and succinct and just like, wait, did they just say?
Can we do that for like other things?
Yeah, did they just say yes?
Is
this
that
is
really
crazy.
easy?
And
no, they're just really open-handed, I think.
I guess. And I think they hopefully thought it was for a good reason.
Yeah.
And then I messaged her back and was like, no way, like all caps, like yelling at this lady.
That's funny.
Because it wasn't the person I reached out to. So publicity was wrong. I think it had been forwarded to whoever needed to be asked. And I think it was management. And then, and then they were like, oh yeah. And I said, do I just put it in the show notes? Like, intro, Ways to Go by Group Love, use with permission. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. That's all you got to do. So it was like, I don't know. There may be more to it than that. We'll find out.
I guess we're going
as
to
the
find
saying
out.
goes. But I don't know. That's just really exciting. And so they've heard that, and here we are, Ed and Kellie, doing this podcast, kicking this thing off. What do people need to know about you? Like as they get to know you, and what are they going to learn about you, see in you as we record these?
I don't know. I am blunt and to the point,
Yes.
mostly.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm this weird unicorn mix of positivity that is almost denial, that is, and then justice, like the right, and like, so I can be for something like really, really far, and then if one of my friends is like hurt by something, then like I feel rise in me. Like if something is unjust, I feel that like come out. But most of the time I'm like sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, that's true.
Personality wise.
Yes.
And then I'm very dark, truthfully, like the way I dress, like the way I
Also true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm divergent. Super divergent.
Yes. I would agree with that. And we've known each other now for a decade.
Yeah.
And our families are really close. And my wife and I are the godparents to your kids. Like our kids are old enough now where they will make it on their own. But there was a time where they were going to go to you guys, or, I think Jen's sister and brother-in-law. And it's like, we're just going to look after each other's families.
Yep.
Your husband and I are like best friends.
That's true.
And so we've known each other for a long time, and all the things you said, I've seen that in you as a friend. And then we've also worked together. And so I see that super fun kind of side of you, but then I also see this ability to be like the blunt and be like, well, that's not going to work. And we need to do this. And I'm like,
this is
dang, that's
wrong.
True. Yeah. Well, but that's kind of beautiful because you have that kind of this discerning like ability to say, okay, you're going to try that. But you think it's going there. It's not. It's going to go over there, and so let's try something else. And
that's a good way to.
It's so helpful.
I feel
it
like
really
the
is
discerning
helpful.
thing. Like I would consider myself intuitive.
Yeah.
See through BS, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like I am kind of the, what did you call me? Like a retriever, like a golden retriever.
A golden retriever.
Yeah. Kind of like this positivity. This person who is going to lean in and listen and laugh and see good, and not in every situation, but in a lot of situations. My wife and daughters can explain, and that it's not always positivity. Like when we're at Disney and it's drizzling or whatever, and they're like, let's go. And I'm like, we could just go in a cafe and get something to drink and wait for this to pass. They're like, but the lines will be so short. And I'm like, and the coffee will be so good. Like, so I will be a realist in those situations, but I think generally I'm really optimistic. I see hope in most situations. But then I think nothing surprises me. Having been a teacher, having counseled families for a really long time, now coaching people and trying to help them achieve goals and stuff like that. I'm also old. And so I've seen enough stuff where I'm 50. And so it's like, I've seen enough life where no one's going to surprise me with their story. Like I've heard some version of it before, and I think I know myself well enough where I'm not going to be surprised that people chose to do something or thought something or got angry, or kind of what we would consider like the darker sides of people's nature. I know my own dark side enough to be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I could see a person feeling that or doing that. But I think I think both of us, we just want good for people. We're just trying to do whatever we can to help people thrive. And we both have worked with students like most of our adult lives. That's true. So I think that's kind of what we're hoping this podcast does, is like help students, and any parents that are listening in, kind of like that go on and scroll their students' like Instagram story, or somehow create a fake account and are following them on Snap, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Like we're kind of looking in from the, we know you're out there. But kind of, we know parents and adults and people in the community are going to be listening in from the outside as well. But I think we really hope that this is for students, like that somehow.
Yes.
People will listen in and they will hear something in people's stories or in the people we have on that would inform them in the moment, or perhaps equip them for something that's coming later. That's difficult.
Yeah, I think students are a hard sell because they can just see through inauthenticity.
Yeah.
I think they want to listen to something that's relevant to their actual lives, not just an adult saying things at them.
Right.
Like, well, we know what's going to happen next, so you should listen to us. Like, so I think a big part of this podcast will be having students sit in our seats and hearing what their experience is, so that can relate to someone on the other side. I want it to be helpful and informative, like actual good information that you can take and you can put in your pocket for when you need it. And I want it to be fun.
Yeah.
Because nothing is good if it's not fun.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so the tough thing is, I think, as we're wrestling with and as we've talked about what we hope, getting students to listen, they have so many options for what to do with their time. It's
we
crazy.
Understand
and so we totally get it. Yeah.
Top of the totem pole here.
We're not nearly as entertaining as some of these people who, are locking themselves in with other streamers or whatever in rooms for a week and see who, and have millions of dollars to give away and all of that. So we know we're competing against tough audiences. But it's like, I don't know, if it's helpful and we're honest and we're adults who are willing to be honest in ways that maybe other adults in students' worlds aren't willing to be, maybe people will find value in it. And that's our dream, is that there would always be, to your point, something helpful about it, that they walk away with something good too, and hopeful. So we're hopeful that it will be a hopeful podcast.
Very much so.
Yeah, and that it'll be fun. And so we'll have students on. Our plan is to have mental health professionals on. We want to also let people know more about For Students, our organization, and kind of what we're doing here in Charlotte. We got to interview our founder, Whitney D. Allard. I think it would be really, really important for people to hear her story.
She's also amazing, and so everyone should know who she is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just in this incredible, I don't know, what's the term? She's just she just gets shit done. I think is just kind of like, she said she had this tragic, thing happen in her life. And yet after and during her mourning process, she kind of ends up being this engine that's driving this change that we're all now a part of in Charlotte and in the surrounding areas.
It's really inspiring, really cool.
It is really cool. And then I think hearing the other people that helped her get it started. I don't know. We're just excited about this journey. It's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the For Students podcast, episode 1.
So excited.
Check. It's in the books. Hopefully people will hang on for a while. All right. Here we go.